So in the previous lecture, I have completed Maxwell's equations for steady fields or steady state. In this lecture, we are going to study Maxwell's equation for time varying fields. So same equation, same concepts we are going to see, but the variation is now with respect to time. So what are the changes in the equation that we are going to learn in this chapter? So in the last lecture, we have seen some basic equation derived from Ampere's law, Faraday's law, Gauss law for electric field, Gauss law for magnetic field, and continuity equation, that is equation derived for current density. So all these equations we have seen, integral form and their point form we have seen. So for by Ampere's law, we know that integration of closed integration of h bar dot dl bar is equal to surface integration of j dot ds bar, and in point form it is equivalent to del cross h is equal to j bar. So you have to remember this equation thoroughly. Faraday's law, according to the Faraday's law, closed integration of EDL is equal to 0 because the field is static field. So this equation EDL is 0. So remember this, where the changes are made for time varying field, because for steady state there is no change in flux. The current is steady, so there is no change in flux. So magnetic field does not develop. Hence EDL, that is closed circulation of electric field around a closed path, will get nothing, that is equal to 0. If some time variation is there, then we'll get d phi by dt here. So in time variation, we are going to change this equation for Faraday's law. In point form, that same equation is converted into del cross E bar is equal to 0. By Gauss law, we have derived dds is equal to volume integration of rho v dv, and that is also equal to q, that is charge enclosed. And in point form, it is equal to del dot d bar is equal to rho v. Point form is also known as differential form. Then the fourth equation is derived from magnetic field, Gauss law of magnetic field, and that is equal to closed integration again of B bar, that is magnetic flux density. B bar is magnetic flux density. So B bar dot ds bar is equal to 0. And if you derive the point form of that, then it is equal to del dot B bar is equal to 0. Right? And continuity equation, that is equation considering the current and the current density, it comes as closed integration of j bar ds bar is equal to 0. Closed integration of j bar dot ds bar is equal to 0 because current entering in a node is equal to current leaving. From that concept, we have derived this closed integration. If the node is considered as a small volume, and if the volume is closed, then it becomes closed integration of j bar dot ds bar is equal to 0, or in point form it is also equal to del dot j bar is equal to 0. So these are the Maxwell's equation for static field we have seen earlier. Now again we are going to see what are the changes here. So again just review some points, like E bar is what? E bar is electric field intensity and it is measured in volts per meter. H bar is what? Magnetic field intensity and it is measured in ampere per meter. We already seen this all in first two chapters, for second and third chapter. D bar is what? Electric flux density measured in coulombs per meter square. V bar is what? Magnetic flux density. It is measured in per meter square or Tesla. And also some important equations like D bar, that is electric flux density, is equal to epsilon E, where epsilon is nothing but epsilon naught into epsilon R, right? And E bar is electric field intensity. So epsilon naught is permittivity of free space and it is equal to 8.85 into 10 raised to minus 12 farad per meter. Epsilon R is equal to relative permittivity of the media, and B bar is what? B bar magnetic flux density, and it is given by mu into H bar. But mu is what? Permeability of space or permeability of media. So mu is equal to mu naught into mu r. Mu naught is equal to 4.10 raised to minus 7 henries per meter, and mu r is relative permeability of media. This mu r depends upon the media. If media is other than air, then this mu r is considered, and it is having some constant value like 1, 2, 3 like that. Simple small values are there for mu r, relative permeability of the media. If the media changes other than air, if it have some other values, so according to the media, this mu r and epsilon r, this value will change. So with these basic notations, let us see what are the changes in time varying fields. In time varying fields, steady state there are stationary charges. In electrostatic field, in magnetostatic field there are steady currents, but in electromagnetic fields both the charges will move with respect to time, and hence they will constitute a current, and that current is said to be again time varying. So this time variation will cause the magnetic field, varying magnetic field, and that is why the equations will change. So we have seen already by Coulomb's law that dE, that is electric field intensity, small electric field intensity because of small charge dq is given by 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square into dq into ar cap. That is, this intensity is because of small charge present at some point, and it is intensity at some point we are going to derive, and r is the distance between the point and the charge. And by Biot-Savart law we know that dB, that is magnetic flux density, is given by IDS mu naught into IDS or IDL upon 4 pi r square cross AR cap. This is the magnetic field density because of magnetic flux density because of some current element IDS or IDL. Okay, so the current segment here they have called DS, but in our case we have called it DL bar. So IDL bar is not a point charge like DQ, hence it is a vector, and cross product of this two vectors dB bar is determined by right hand rule. So this here AR cap and IDL bar, there is a cross product between them. So we have seen this equation in Biot-Savart law. After cross product you will get some another vector quantity, and because of that vector quantity this dB bar is a vector quantity again, and the direction, its direction is given by Fleming's right hand rule. So all these concepts we have seen in the previous two lectures. So let us recall again the Gauss law for electric field. So let us start the first Maxwell's equation. What the Gauss law states? It states that the total electric flux passing through any closed surface is equal to the total charge enclosed by that surface. We already seen this law, and it is valid for both steady state field and time varying fields also. So Q is equal to Q enclosed is equal to phi, or we have called that phi in electric field as psi, right? Not phi, it is psi in our, as per our notations. So it may be psi, or they have given one more notation, that is phi e. So phi e or psi is equal to Q enclosed. So that is equal to psi is equal to, we have seen integration, surface integration of total psi. If you want to find total flux crossing that surface, then it is equal to closed surface integration of d phi e. D phi e is nothing but psi, and it is equal to closed surface integration of d bar dot ds bar. So we have seen this, psi is equal to closed surface integration of d bar dot ds bar in the first in the electric field chapter. Okay, so the total charge enclosed, Q enclosed, is equal to same, that is equal to closed integration of d bar dot ds bar, and that is also equal to volume integration, charge enclosed in the volume they want. So it is volume integration of rho v into dv, where dv is what? Equation of volume, and rho v is what? Volume charge density. So density multiplied by volume, that gives us charge. So Q enclosed is equal to triple integration. If you have to write it, either you have to write it here V, or you have to show it as triple integration of rho v into dv, right? This is the Gauss law we have seen already. And so final equation will become, if you equate these two parts, right hand sides, then it is surface integration is equal to volume integration, that is closed surface integration of d bar dot ds bar is equal to volume integration of rho v into dv. That is our final integral form of Gauss law, right? This is called as integral form of Gauss law. All the things are in terms of integration. Now if I want to reduce this law in the point form, so I can use some other theorems like Stokes theorems or divergence theorem, and I will reduce this quantity into differential form. Differential means for smaller elements, for very small elements we can apply same law. In integral form means the elements are maybe larger, the paths or the surfaces are larger, so we can use integral form. So that way the point form and integral form are defined. So if I apply the divergence theorem, what the divergence theorem says? Closed surface integration of a vector quantity, for example, if it is d bar, then closed surface integration of d bar dot ds bar is equal to volume integration of del dot d into dv. That is the divergence theorem. So if we compare this equation with previous equation, what we get? Del dot d bar is equal to rho v. If we equate this equation and previous equation, right hand side of the previous equation, so this equation d ds is equal to rho v dv, and here we have written d ds is equal to del dot d, and both right hand sides are at volume integration, so we can write del dot d bar is equal to rho v, where del dot d bar is nothing but divergence of electric flux density and rho v is volume charge density. So this is the first Maxwell's equation derived from Gauss law, and it is same for static field and it is same for time varying field. So there is no change in this equation because there is no quantity which is dependent upon the time here. Charge is not, only static charge is not dependent upon the time. If it is moving with respect to time, then it will constitute a current. But here we are considering only static charges that are enclosed inside a volume. So same equation is available for us for time varying fields. So this is the first Maxwell's equation for time varying field, and which is derived from which law? Gauss law. So what is the equation? Point form, volume charge density is same as divergence of the electric flux density. So note down, this is the first law, first Maxwell's equation for time varying fields. So next we are going to see same Gauss law for magnetic field. In the magnetic field, some change will be there. The magnetic flux density is related to magnetic field intensity. We already know that B bar is equal to mu into H bar. We have just seen it, right? So B bar is equal to, let us consider that it is air, right? So magnetic flux density B bar will become mu naught into H bar. B bar is equal to what? Mu naught into H bar, right? What is mu naught? Mu naught is constant and is known as permeability of the free space, right? And it is measured in Henry's per meter. So the value of that we know. So now if I want to find out the flux crossing through an open area, flux, magnetic flux phi m crossing through an open area, then it is equal to B bar dot ds bar. This also we know, and this surface integration is there. So surface integration of B bar dot ds bar gives us flux crossing through that particular area ds, or the entire area. If you integrate it, then whatever the entire area with limits they have given, we can find out the flux crossing through that area. Now next, so what is phi m here? Phi m is magnetic flux and it is measured in Webers. It is not measured in coulombs. It is measured in Webers. And magnetic flux density is measured in Weber per meter square. So Weber per meter square multiplied by meter square, that gives us Weber, and also it is having another unit that is known as Tesla. So we know that all the things we have already seen, but let us review it. So the magnetic field lines are due to a straight current carrying filament are coming out of the page. Okay, so this eye here at the center shows that the filament is coming out of the plane. Okay, so we have seen only a dot instead of a vertical filament. So we are seeing this diagram. We are seeing this diagram from the top view. The filament is like this. the filament is straight, and whatever the field will be generated, it will be in this direction, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. That depends upon the direction of the current. Now in this case, the filament, the current is coming out of the paper I, because dot sign is shown at the center, right? So this dot sign indicates that the filament, the current is coming outside the paper. So the direction of this magnetic flux density or magnetic field intensity is in this direction. Okay, it is anti-clockwise. And lines are circular in shape. Each magnetic flux line has a closed path with no beginning and no end, and are also not crossing each other. See, all the lines are having circular paths. So this indicates the flux or magnetic intensity or magnetic field nearby the current carrying filament. And the magnetic flux lines are shown as a circular path. But in case of electrostatic field, so this means the magnetic flux lines are always closed, right? But in electrostatic field, what is the concept? The flux crossing a closed area or closed surface is charge enclosed. And Gauss law states that psi is equal to dds is equal to q. That is Gauss law. And the charge is present inside a closed surface like this. Suppose this is a ball which is having a charge q present. Then flux lines will cross all the in omnidirection through that closed surface. So this is entire surface is closed, but the flux lines are crossing the surface and it goes into omnidirectional. So it diverges, flux will diverge. So what the concept told to us is magnetic flux lines are always closed upon themselves. So if you consider n pole and s pole or a simple bar magnet or a dipole, magnetic dipole, then the lines of flux will emerge n pole and it will converge into s pole. So they are having always closed path. Whatever may be the density is there, if they are more dense, then the lines of flux are more in number. So it is possible, it is not possible to isolate n magnetic charges. An isolated magnetic charge does not exist. An isolated magnetic charge does not exist. So therefore, thus the total flux through a closed surface in a magnetic field must be zero. So if you consider a closed surface like the previous case, and whatever the flux lines that are going outside because of magnetic field, they will come back to the same surface, okay, because they have closed path. So because of this, the closed integration of b bar dot ds bar is equal to 0. That we already seen again. So what this tells, this equation is known as law of conservation of magnetic flux or Gauss law of magnetostatic fields. Okay, so if we apply divergence theorem to this equation, if I apply divergence theorem to this equation, then what I can write? Closed surface integration is equal to volume integration. So what is the surface integration? Which surface integration? Surface integration of b bar dot ds bar is equal to del dot b bar into dv. Divergence theorem, see, divergence theorem we can apply to any vector quantity. So b bar may be valid, d bar may be valid, e bar is also valid, whatever it, the quantity should be present here should be a vector quantity. Then here you have to write ds bar, here you have to write dv, and here you should show surface integration, closed surface integration, and here you should show closed volume integration. Closed surface means what? Closed surface constitute always a volume. So surface integration becomes volume integration. But what we derived? Closed surface integration of v bar dot ds bar is equal to 0. That we have derived just now. So I can say that del dot b bar is also equal to 0, because in integration of volume, if I take the reverse of the integration, then it is become, or derivative of both sides, whatever, then del dot b bar is equal to 0. That is the point form of Maxwell's equation derived from Gauss law in magnetostatic fields. Okay, the equation suggests that magnetostatic fields have no source or sinks. Okay, they will not provide any sources, or they cannot get any other energy from the other sources. Also, magnetic flux lines are always continuous. Okay, so del dot b bar is 0. Divergence, there is no divergence of magnetic field. Okay, whatever in case of electrostatic field, divergence is present. flux lines will diverge in all direction. Okay, so they go out from the source, but here the magnetic flux lines will go out, but they come back to the same volume. Say so what we get, del dot B bar is equal to 0. That is point form of Maxwell's equation derived from Gauss law in magnetostatics. So we have seen two theorems. One is for electric field, other one is for magnetic field. Okay, now next, let us come to the next theorem, that is Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. And we have seen same thing in the previous equations also, for previous equations also. So what is it says? We have learned that the constant current induces magnetic field and constant charge makes an electric field. Constant current means current is continuously present, and if such kind of current is present, because current is nothing but charge with respect to time, so the current is time varying quantity, but it is continuous, non-stop. So it will have changing magnetic field, but if the charge is constant, then it will make a electric field, it will not make magnetic field. So similar phenomena happen when current voltages are in changing with respect to time. The relationship between electric and magnetic field components is governed by Faraday's law. What Faraday's law states that whatever voltage induced or EMF induced, we have seen this, whatever voltage or EMF induced because of changing magnetic field will depend upon the rate of change of flux with respect to time. E or EMF, or it is also equal to voltage, is equal to minus d phi m by dt. This law is first stated by Lenz, so it is also known as Lenz's law. The minus sign indicates that whatever change of flux is there that opposes the, or whatever the EMF induced is there that opposes the cause of producing it. So EMF opposes the rate of change of flux. So negative signs comes here. So what is phi mt here? Phi mt is total time varying magnetic flux passing through the surface. Total time varying magnetic flux passing through the surface. And EMF is induced on the secondary side or nearby through in another coil which is present inside in the vicinity of the flux, changing flux like that. In case of transformer principle, we have seen this equation in the previous lecture also. So Vt is equal to d phi m by dt with minus sign. So what this it tells again? So if you consider a loop current I, and then the loop is present inside the magnetic flux or nearby a magnetic flux, then some voltage will be induced, Vt. The terminals of the loops are separated by a small distance. Therefore, we consider an individual turn of a coil as a closed loop. We consider this as a closed loop. Let B be the magnetic flux density and ds is the area of the loop. The electric current is generated in a closed loop. As there is a potential generated, the electric induced current will be there in the secondary side, similar to the transformer principle. And that EMF, that current is generated in a closed loop when any change in the magnetic environment around the loop occurs, right? When an EMF is generated by change in magnetic flux, according to the Faraday's law, the polarity of the induced EMF is such that it produces a current whose magnetic field opposes the change which produces it. So EMF is induced, that EMF will give current. That current we call as induced current, and whatever the field produced by this induced current will oppose Vt or will oppose the rate of change of flux. So the induced magnetic field inside any loop of wire always acts to keep the magnetic flux in the loop constant. So hence if there is a change in flux, there will be EMF. If EMF is there is a current induced. That current induced will try to keep the flux constant. Hence, the magnetic flux will remain constant inside the loop. The Faraday's law says this. Okay, so what is the final thing? the total magnetic flux crossing the loop phi mt is equal to surface integration of b bar dot ds bar. If you consider this surface area for ds area, it is integration of b bar dot ds bar. For entire area, we have to take the integration. Okay, so this becomes total phi mt is equal to surface integration of b bar dot ds bar. The terminals of loop are separated by small. The electric potential therefore can be given by, we already know that electric potential is also given as Vt is equal to whatever EMF that is because of the electricity passed at the other coil, or because of that electricity only magnetic field is generated. So Vt is also related. So it is equal to closed path integration of E bar dot dl bar, right? So this equation we have seen in the electrostatic fields. So same we are applying using here, and we are considering E bar also here. So Vt is also equal to closed integration of E bar dot dl bar. If we combine these equations with equation 2.11 yields the integral form of Faraday's law. So what we combine, E dl is equal to, the previous equation was d phi m by dt, or it is also equal to this 2.13 EDL is equal to, there is a Vt, and what is Vt? Vt is equal to d phi m by dt. So I have kept this d by dt outside the integration, minus sign is there, and what is phi m? Phi m is nothing but integration, surface integration of Vds. So from this equation 2.13, 2.12 and 2.11, we got EDL is equal to dou dot T of V bar dot ds bar. Okay, so integration of E bar dot dl bar is equal to dou dot T of V bar dot ds bar. Okay, so this is the Faraday's law in integral form. And what is the next equation? So if I apply Stokes theorem कधी अप्लाय करायचा, ज्यावेळेला लाईन इंटिग्रेशन इज इक्वल टू सरफेस इंटिग्रेशन असेल त्यावेळेला. So we can convert this EDL into surface integration, because both the sides we want surface in either surface integration or line integration. So we can convert this line integration of E into surface integration. So according to the Stokes theorem, we can write as integration, closed integration of E bar dot dl bar is equal to surface integration of del cross E dot ds bar. This is Stokes theorem, right? And we have just equated this EDL with dou dot T of B bar dot ds bar, right? So after equating all these quantities as per 2.15 equation, what we get? So this surface integration is equal to this BDS integration. So we can equate these two quantities. So what we get? Del cross E integration same. We have removed it, but this derivative we have to keep it as it is. So del cross E is equal to dou B bar with respect to dou T. Faraday's law, point form of Faraday's law. In electrostatics, what is the change here? See, in electrostatics, this del cross E has become equal to 0 because there is no variation of flux. So because this d phi by dt is 0 there, so hence there is no variation of B bar, and hence del cross E has become 0. But here, as there is a magnetic field generated, because that magnetic field is generated because there is current present, and current is changing with respect to time, hence we can say that magnetic field is also changing with respect to time, and hence we got this law as del cross E bar is equal to minus dou B bar by dou T. Remember, this is the first change in time varying fields. In electrostatic field, this equation has come equal to del cross E bar is equal to 0, but for time varying field, it is del cross E bar is equal to minus dou B bar by dou T. And this equation is also called as what? Differential form of Faraday's law. Differential form of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, which is also known as third Maxwell's equation, right? So this is the main change. Now E, we have converted E. Also we want to know what is H. Okay, so let us first move to the Ampere's law, then we'll move to the continuity equation. So we have completed Gauss law, two Gauss law, one Faraday law, and fourth one is Ampere's law. So what are the changes for time varying fields? Let us see. Let us state that what is Ampere's law? Line integral of h bar. What is h? Magnetic field intensity. Line integral of h bar about any closed path is exactly equal to direct current enclosed by that path. Closed line integration of h bar dot dl bar is equal to I enclosed, current enclosed, similar to Gauss law. Applying Stokes theorem, if I want to reduce this to the point form, then we have to apply the Stokes theorem, because here we find that there is a line integration. So what Stokes theorem says? Line integration is equal to surface integration. So let us move on. So according to Stokes theorem, if I take the surface integration of any quantity, like according to the Stokes theorem, surface integration of del cross h bar dot ds bar is equal to, it is also equal to surface integration of Jc, that is conduction current density dot ds bar. Okay, actually according to the Stokes theorem, closed integration of HDL is equal to surface integration of del cross h dot ds is there, but also del cross h dot ds is also equal to surface integration of j bar dot ds bar, because del cross h is nothing but j bar, that we already seen. So or we can reversely we can say, because what is I enclosed? So this jc dot ds bar comes from this I. Okay, jc is conduction current density and I is current which is enclosed, that is conducted, and because of this conduction field is generated, right? So I is equal to surface integration of jc into ds, and if I equate these two things, this is the right hand side of this part, this is the right hand side of this part. So if we equate these two things, then what we get? Del cross h is equal to jc, that is point form of Ampere's law. Okay, point form of Ampere's law. But whether this equation satisfy, whether this del cross h is equal to jc, whether it is satisfying the Ampere's law or both sides of this equation, let us see. And this inconsistency, there is some term that should be included here in order to satisfy this del cross h is equal to jc for time varying field. So that inconsistency is known as inconsistency of Ampere's law. What is that inconsistency? Let us see. So there is maybe separate question on this. So explain inconsistency of Ampere's law, and we are also deriving Maxwell's equation also, remember. Okay, so what we have derived right now? Del cross h is equal to jc. Okay, for electromagnetic fields, del cross h is equal to j bar, but the divergence of curl of a vector quantity is 0. So now if we take the curl of this above equation, right? If I take divergence of above equation, say del cross h, then it is 0. It is a vector identity. Divergence of curl of any vector quantity is 0. This is an identity. And as per right hand side, we have to take the divergence of j also, right? So del dot j bar, that also becomes 0, right? So whether del dot j is 0, but del dot j, this is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t. We are going to derive this equation. Okay, and this equation comes from continuity equation. Del dot j bar is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t. Continuity equation. This equation is known as continuity equation. So see, 2.24 says del dot j is equal to 0, and 2.25 says del dot j is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t, right? So this is inconsistency. Okay, this is inconsistent. This is not a complete statement, correct statement. So this means there must be some quantity that should be added here in order to say that divergence of curl of H is equal to 0. So equation above these two equations are incompatible for time varying conditions. Del dot J bar is not equal to 0 for time varying fields. It is equal to minus negative derivative of volume charge density. Okay, if volume charge density is changing with respect to time, then we will get divergence of J. So these two equations are incompatible and this is known as inconsistency of Ampere's law. So we need to modify this previous equation. कुठलं equation modify करायचं आहे? That del cross H is equal to JC आपण लिहिले किंवा J काय आहे? So del cross J has to be modified. So let us add some quantity, one more quantity into this equation. Okay, let us consider that del cross H bar is equal to some J bar plus JD bar. Similar quantity should be there. So we have added JD term here. And this JD is called as, later we are going to define this JD term. What is it? We are going to see. So again, if I take the divergence of both sides, okay, let us take the divergence again. Okay, so what is the divergence? Del cross H is equal to 0 and it is equal to del dot J bar, separate divergence we have to take, plus del dot JD. Okay, so in order for equation 2.27 to agree 2.25 मध्ये काय आहे? इथे काय आहे? Del dot J bar is equal to minus dou rho V by dou T, right? So here we are going to put that value here. So del dot, now as this part is equal to 0, we'll consider only this side. We'll consider only right hand side. So del dot J bar plus del dot JD bar is equal to 0 and hence del dot J bar is equal to minus of del dot JD bar and hence del dot JD bar equal to minus of dou rho V by dou T from 2.25. So it becomes dou T. What is rho V? We can put the point form of rho V as del dot D bar that we have seen divergence theorem, right? So del dot dou T of del dot D, or we can write this as divergence of derivative of D bar. Divergence dot derivative of D bar. We have applied this derivative time variation to D quantity, this D bar quantity, and we have taken this divergence outside. So divergence of del dot D bar or divergence of dou D bar by dou T. So both divergence we are going to cancel. So what we get? JD bar is equal to dou D bar by dou T. So for this JD bar term, what we got is, it is derivative of flux density D bar with respect to time. So if we put this equation in previous equation of del cross H, then del cross H is modified as del cross H is equal to J plus dou D bar by dou T. And this del cross H is equal to J dou D by dou T is called as Maxwell's fourth equation derived from Ampere's circuital law for time varying fields. For which field? Time varying fields. For static field, this dou D bar by dou T term is not there. Remember, so the term JD is equal to dou D bar by dou T is also known as displacement current density. As it is current density only, we call their current density as displacement current density, and only JC or J is called as conduction current density. Conduction current density depends upon the electric field E bar and this sigma. So JC is equal to sigma into E, where sigma is called as conductivity of that material or of that space. JC is called as JC is conduction current density given by sigma into E, and JD is displacement current density given by dou D by dou T, time derivative of D bar. These two terms are very important. There may be some example based on this also. So what is this equation tells? Del cross H is equal to J bar plus dou D by dou T. This is point form of Maxwell's equation derived from Ampere's law for time varying fields. For time varying fields. So what is the displacement current? What does it mean? We have seen the conduction current. Conduction current flows continuously. Okay, suppose there is no capacitor present here. Consider this circuit to explain what is the quantity of displacement current. Conduction current means continuous current. If capacitor is not present, whatever current the source will send, that is called as conduction current, right? So, and that depends upon the that conduction current. If capacitor is present, the current IC that will charge the capacitor is given by IC is equal to C dVc by dt. We have seen this basic formula. I, that is conduction current, is equal to C dVc by dt. That depends upon the voltage applied, and it is equal to C into V naught into omega cos omega t. But what, whether the current passing through this capacitor, whether the capacitor has a closed path? No, the capacitor has two parallel plates, right? The capacitor has two parallel plates, and in between these two parallel plates, there is a dielectric constant. So how the current passes from one plate to another plate? No, the current is not passing from one plate to another plate, but there is a flow of current. Okay, so this means there is some kind of displacement of charges present on the another plate. We are applying the source to the positive plate of the capacitor, and from negative plate of the capacitor, electrons are still flowing because of this source. Okay, so what is C? Capacitance. C is equal to epsilon A by D. And what is electric field that we have applied? That is equal to, electric field is given by potential divided by distance. Okay, so Vc divided by D, where D is what? The distance between these two plates, right? So, and what is flux density? Flux density is equal to D is equal to epsilon E. Therefore, epsilon into V naught upon D into sine of omega t. Right? So, displacement current is present on displacement current density JD, and that is given by ID is equal to surface integration of JD dot ds bar, and that is equal to, what is JD? JD we are already calculated, that is dou D by dou T. So it is surface integration of dou D by dou T into ds bar. So what is D? D, we put all this equation here, and what we finally get is equal to epsilon A V naught divided by D omega cos omega t. Integration of sin omega t is equal to cos omega t. So finally it is equal to IC that we have derived. This means displacement current is equal to conduction current. Okay, this means there is some kind of displacement from this plate to another plate, displacement of charges from positive plate to negative plate, and hence this current is called as displacement current. So conduction current is equal to displacement current. Hence conduction current density and displacement current density, both densities we have to consider. Displacement current density is because of presence of this capacitor in a simple closed circuit. That is the physical meaning of that displacement current density. So whatever the charges displaced, that will depend upon the area of cross section, and hence that depends upon the density, displacement current density. So this is the Ampere's law. So one more law we have to see, one more thing we have to left, we have to see, that is the continuity equation. So let us see what is the continuity equation. So this is the Maxwell's fifth law. In case of electric field, the charges are in motion. When they are in motion, they constitute a current. The unit of current is in amperes, and it is defined as rate of change of charges moving through a reference point, and it is given by I is equal to minus dq by dt. Okay, I is equal to minus dq by dt, rate of change of charge. But what is I? I is also equal to J ds. What is J? Current density multiplied by area. So it is surface integration of J bar dot ds bar. And what is Q enclosed? Q is equal to what? Triple integration of rho v dv. If we put these two equations in 217, what we get? Surface integration of Jc. Let us call this J as Jc because it is conduction current. So Jc dot ds is equal to volume integration of or negative derivative with respect to time dou dot t of integration of rho v dv. So instead of this q, we have put this integration of rho v dv. Dou dot t is kept outside. So this surface integration is equal to some kind of volume integration. So this closed surface integration of Jc dot ds bar is equal to negative derivative of integration of rho v dv. After this, if I apply the divergence theorem, because here surface integration is equal to some volume integration. So let us consider this part, surface integration, in this equation 2.80. So what I can write? Closed surface integration of Jc dot ds is equal to volume integration of del dot j bar into dv according to divergence theorem, right? So volume integration of del dot jc into dv is equal to now what? This part, right? So del dot j bar into dv is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t into dv. Volume integration, now volume integration is equal to volume integration, so we can neglect these two terms. Integration we can neglect, dv we can cancel, and what we get is del dot jc bar is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t, and this equation is known as continuity equation of the current and is derived from principle of conservation of charges, and we get this equation and is known as continuity equation. Divergence of current density is equal to rate of change of charge density with respect to time. Current never becomes zero, so that is or charges never becomes zero. Either they will convert into the current or the current density, right? So del dot jc or del dot j bar is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t. That is the continuity equation, and it is also known as point form of Maxwell's equation derived from continuity equation for time varying fields. Okay, for steady state field, this rho v has become zero, so there is no variation, means this quantity is zero. So del dot j we got there as zero, but here what we got? Del dot j is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t in time varying fields. This is point form, and this is the previous equation. This equation is called as integral form. J ds is equal to dou dot t of rho v dv is integral form of Maxwell's equation derived from continuity equation for time varying fields. Gauss law for electric field, Gauss law for magnetic field, Ampere's law, Faraday's law, and continuity equation. From these 5 equations, we have derived equations for time varying fields, Maxwell's equation for time varying fields. So let us summarize all the equations. So what is the first equation? In integral form, surface integration of d ds is equal to q enclosed is equal to volume integration of rho v dv, Gauss law for electric field, and its point form comes as del dot d bar is equal to rho v, right? Then second, from magnetic field, surface integration, closed surface integration of b bar dot ds bar is equal to 0. Same law is there for steady state, so its point form is, or differential form is, del dot b bar is equal to 0. Okay, because the magnetic charges are cannot be isolated. Then next, from Faraday's law, we have derived line integration of E bar dot dl bar is equal to minus dou dot t of surface integration of B bar dot ds bar according to Faraday's law, and its point form is given as, or differential form is given as, del cross E is equal to minus dou B by dou t, minus dou B by dou t. So this, there is a change in this equation. Remember, in for time varying field there is change in this equation, and there is change in the fourth equation also. Ampere's law and Faraday's law, there are changes for time varying fields. Okay, so for Ampere's law, what is the equation? Integral form, closed integration of h bar dot dl bar is equal to surface integration of j plus dou dou t of dt, dou d bar by dou t together we have considered dot ds bar. We can apply this ds bar separately also. This is the integral form. What is the point form? Del cross h. Whenever there is a line integration on the right hand side, you just take as a del cross it as a point form. And if there is a surface integration, then we have to take this j plus dou d by dou t. Okay, so line integration चं कर्ल मध्ये कन्वर्ट करायचं आणि ds cancel करायचं. So whatever we will get is equal to point form. Remember this small trick. So del cross h is equal to j bar plus dou d bar by dou t. And this is Ampere circuit. So in 1 and 2, S is closed surface enclosing the volume here. And in 2 and 3, L is closed path, or 3 and 4, L is closed path that bounds the surface. So these are the main, and one more equation is there, na? Del cross H, J bar is equal to what? Del dot line integration of this equation, continuity equation, del close the surface integration of JC into ds, close the surface integration of JC into ds is equal to dou dou t of rho v dv. This is integral form of continuity equation, and its point form is del dot JC is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t. So these are the 5 equations that are derived for time varying fields. Gauss law for electric field, Gauss law for magnetic field, Faraday's law, Ampere's law, and continuity equation. Right. So remember the changes, remember the laws, and whenever there is a question like it may be asked for 8 marks if theory paper is there. Explain the Maxwell's equation for time varying field. So we have to explain the inconsistency also, or we have to explain the laws also, how it is derived, everything we have to explain.